Michael says, tell them to pack, not with fear, not with anxiety, but with readiness. Pack your soul, clean your heart, remove the bitterness from your tone, close the tabs on relationships that drain you, let go of the people you've been carrying who haven't clapped for you once, because you've been walking slow, not because of failure, but because of weight. This is why your progress has felt stuck. This is why you've been tired without explanation. This is why you've been waking up with a racing heart and a silent cry, because your soul knows what your mind is still catching up to. You're standing on a threshold. And if you miss this, God won't leave you, but the moment will. That's how spiritual windows work. They open, they shine, they hover, and then they close. But right now it's wide open, and heaven is shouting, get in. Michael doesn't usually scream, but tonight his voice shook the sky. He said, tell them this is the final warning, tell them I've delayed the storm long enough, tell them I've silenced their enemies in secret, but I cannot keep fighting what they keep inviting. Read that again, because some of your storms are not from demons, they're from doors you refuse to close. But tomorrow you'll get one last chance to block it, to walk away, to say no, to finally protect your peace like it's your purpose, because it is. If you skip again, if you delay again, if you think about it again, God won't punish you, but life will feel like it's stopped breathing, because the wind that's about to blow in your direction can only catch you if you're ready. So here's what you need to do tonight. Pray not out of panic but with power, right? Pour out every lingering question, every name you're still unsure of. Cleanse your room, your energy, your screen, your circle. Delete those texts you've been rereading that are tied to trauma, not truth, and prepare, because 8:03 p.m. isn't coming for your comfort, it's coming for your calling. Let's go deeper now, because what's coming has nothing to do with what you've seen before. God isn't just preparing to bless you, He's preparing to reveal you, and that's a whole different weight. Blessings can be given in private, but revelations happen in front of people who once doubted you. That's why the heat in your life turned up lately. It wasn't punishment, it was the pressure that forms diamonds, because the version of you that's rising is one the world hasn't met yet, and heaven is making sure you're refined enough to carry what's coming without cracking under it. Archangel Michael says this next chapter won't come gently, it will come suddenly. A door you thought was closed will swing open, someone you thought forgot you will suddenly remember, and opportunities that once felt impossible will chase you down. But listen closely, this will only happen if you don't sabotage it with old thinking. Let me say this as clearly as heaven whispered it, you cannot take your old self into your next season, not the self that second guesses, not the self that apologizes for shining, not the self that waits to be chosen because you've already been chosen. God didn't bring you this far to leave you in limbo, He brought you here because you finally reached the level of spiritual maturity required to walk in what you've been praying for. But don't get it twisted, elevation requires evacuation. You will lose some people, you will outgrow some places, you will feel the loneliness of obedience, but you will never again feel the emptiness of begging for crumbs. Heaven has prepared a full table for you, but you must have the strength to leave the room where you were being starved. Michael says there's a person near them that has been delaying the divine. They look safe, they talk soft, but their spirit carries jealousy. You know who it is, the one who never celebrates your wins, the one who always plants doubt in your good news, the one whose presence feels heavy after you've been with them. And tomorrow they will try once again to take up space in your next decision. This is the warning, don't let them in, don't explain yourself, don't give them another inch of your timeline, because this is where it all turns. You've cried enough, you've waited long enough, you've doubted long enough, and God is saying, I'm not waiting anymore, I'm moving, either come with me or stand back and watch. That's why you've been so emotional lately, that's why everything feels louder, deeper, more urgent, because you're not just walking into a new season, you're walking into a divine reckoning, a recovery of everything you lost, a rerouting of every mistake, a reintroduction to the world that says, "This is my child, watch what I do through them." Don't be fooled by how quiet this season seems. What's coming next will be loud, loud joy, loud clarity, loud breakthroughs, but only if you protect this window, because not every opportunity comes back again. Tomorrow at 8:03 p.m. there will be a divine split in the realm. One path leads to confusion, delay, and loss, the other leads to momentum, divine encounters, and clarity so sharp it will feel like thunder in your chest. Which one you take depends on what you do now, not what you wish for, not what you hope for, what you do. And here's the truth, God will never force you, Michael will never beg, they will warn, they will protect, they will even delay certain attacks, but they won't hold open a door you keep walking away from. This is your moment to choose, no one can do it for you. If you want the future God wrote for you, you must be willing to close the chapter the enemy keeps trying to rewrite. Good, because now we enter the most important part, the part where heaven holds its breath and waits to see what you choose. You see, tomorrow at 8:03 p.m. is not just a time on the clock, it's a portal, a divine fold in the fabric of your timeline, and what happens in that minute could either change everything or keep everything the same for far too long. You're not just reading a spiritual message right now, you're standing on holy ground with spiritual instructions tailor-written for you. And here's what Archangel Michael wants you to know, you are being watched, not by just people, not by just the person who thinks they still have power over your heart, not by the ones who underestimated your strength or misjudged your silence. You're being watched by heaven itself, by destiny, by divine agreements that are waiting to be signed and sealed with your obedience. And if you skip this, if you ignore this final divine broadcast, you'll wake up one day soon and wonder why everything suddenly went quiet, why opportunities dried up, why certain people vanished. It won't be punishment, it'll be a shift, one you didn't respond to. But if you don't skip, if you surrender, if you obey, if you say, "Yes, God, I'm listening now," then not only will tomorrow protect you from the danger coming, it will unlock a surprise blessing that's already been prepared. I'm talking about an unexpected message, a shocking opportunity, a connection you never saw coming, but it's tied to this moment. Heaven cannot deliver what your disobedience blocks. You've waited long enough, you've cried long enough, and honestly, you've already been delayed longer than heaven wanted. Michael says, there was a moment earlier this year when the breakthrough was ready, but they hesitated, they let someone else's voice be louder than my whisper, and so I delayed it. I protected them by delaying what they weren't ready to carry, but now they're ready, now is the time. But this is the last time I'll flash the warning, they must listen or the danger will be theirs to bear. God is not cruel, He's protective, and this message is your protection in disguise. You might be tempted to shrug this off, to say maybe later or I've heard things like this before, but let me tell you what you've never heard, this warning has a time stamp, this invitation expires because tomorrow night you will be spiritually tested. Someone will show up in your life or something will trigger you and your reaction will decide whether you stay stuck or finally soar. There's a reason heaven has been whispering in your dreams, there's a reason you've been waking up in the middle of the night with a strange ache in your chest. It's not anxiety, it's not fear, it's a spiritual pull, the voice of your destiny calling you home. And Michael's sword has been pointed not just at what's coming against you, but also at what's clinging to you that no longer belongs, that friend who acts like they support you, but secretly competes, that family member who manipulates with guilt and silence, that person you've been loving with loyalty but receiving nothing but emotional starvation from. Michael says, cut it now before it poisons the path, because what's coming after 8:03 p.m. is acceleration, but only if your soul is light enough to move. God cannot send you the next chapter if your hands are still full of what He asked you to drop 5 seasons ago. I know you're tired. I know trusting again feels like a risk, but it's not a risk when heaven is the one asking you to leap. It's a rescue mission. And this message, it's your final call before the ship sails. Do not delay this time. Do not let fear sound louder than faith. Do not let history steal your future. Do not let delay dress itself as comfort and convince you to stay stuck, because there is a version of your life waiting for you on the other side of one obedient moment. Just one. You may not feel ready, but your spirit is, and heaven already is. They've been waiting on your yes like rainfall in a dry season. So tonight, before you lay your head down, do this. Speak aloud. God, I'm ready. Archangel Michael, I surrender. I will not skip. I will not delay. Whatever needs to go, go. Whatever you want to send, send. I'm ready to walk through the door at 8:03 p.m. Say it with trembling if you must. Say it with tears. Say it in your own voice, shaky or strong, but say it, because when that moment comes tomorrow, if you've said yes, heaven will flood your life with confirmation. You'll feel it in your body, you'll sense it in conversations, and most of all, you'll be protected from something that was scheduled to throw your life off course, but only if you believe this isn't a joke, only if you treat this message like the miracle it is. Yes, let's finish this, because this is the most sacred part, the part where heaven leans in to hear what you whisper back. You see, spiritual messages like this don't come twice. Not with this level of precision, not with this kind of urgency, and not with this divine timing. Right now, Archangel Michael isn't standing still, he's pacing, sword in hand, wings stretched wide, his voice ringing through the unseen world, echoing in a language only angels fully understand, but for your sake, it's being translated into this message one last time, so you cannot miss it. God says, I have waited, I have watched, I have whispered, now I have shouted. If they skip this one, I won't stop loving them, but I will allow them to face the consequences they prayed I'd block, because protection must be partnered with obedience. This is the moment where destiny isn't just calling you, it's depending on you. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every person who left you, every loss, every betrayal, every quiet night you wondered if God forgot you, it all led here to a message written by divine instruction at a time only heaven could pick, with words that only you would understand. Because God knows your spirit, He knows your doubts, He knows how tired you are of hoping and hurting in the same breath, but He also knows that you're ready now, not perfect, not flawless, just willing. That's all He ever wanted from you, willingness to walk away from what's easy for what's eternal, to leave behind survival and step into the life that's been trying to reach you, to finally realize you are not here by accident. You are here because heaven marked you for something big, something sacred, and that sacred thing, it begins unfolding at 8:03 p.m. Not symbolically, not poetically, literally, there is a scheduled shift written in the heavenly calendar. It was already missed once this year. That delay cost you something, maybe peace, maybe connection, maybe progress, but this time, God doesn't want you to lose what He still intends to give you. You're closer now, closer than you think. Michael says when they open their eyes at 8:04 p.m. they'll either be covered or exposed, not because I didn't do my part, but because they didn't believe I was serious. That moment will come quietly, no alarm bells, no flashes in the sky, just one small test, one soft choice, and that one response will determine whether you move into your miracle or repeat the cycle. You've repeated enough, haven't you? Enough heartbreak that feels like déjà vu, enough spiritual fog that clouds your clarity, enough relationships that drain more than they pour, enough hopes that rise high and crash just as fast. This message is not just to warn you, it's to end the pattern. You are not just a reader, you are a chosen vessel, marked with favor, sealed with oil, called by name, assigned with light that your own mind has not yet fully grasped. But heaven sees it, demons recognize it, and tomorrow your decision will activate it. So this is your preparation. Tonight sit with God, not for long, not with fancy words, just with honesty. Tell him everything, every fear, every weakness, everything you've been hiding, because when you do, you give him permission to enter that space, and when God enters, everything aligns. Then tomorrow when the hour draws near, be still, be aware, watch, listen, and most importantly, obey. Obey the tug on your spirit, obey the sudden intuition, obey the feeling that says something's not right or this is your moment. That's not just emotion, that's heaven's hand guiding your step. You'll know it when it comes, it'll feel different, time may feel slower, your body may respond before your mind even understands, but deep down you'll know, this is the 803 moment. And once you choose rightly, once you step out in obedience, once you align your faith with God's timing, the covering will fall, the storm will pass, the blessing will break, and the enemy will scatter. You will walk through that next door not as a victim but as a victor, not wondering what if but saying thank you God, because you'll know without a doubt that you finally chose yourself the way heaven always chose you. This is the part where the old you dies quietly and the real you finally lives, not afraid, not hiding, not questioning your worth every 5 minutes, but standing in your divine assignment, lit with heaven's favor, surrounded by protection, walking like someone who knows they are backed by legions of angels because you are. And that moment, that version of you, it all begins tomorrow, 8:03 p.m. Now, are you going to skip this or are you going to finally say, yes, God, this time I'm ready? This was the final message.